Standing outside one of the entrances of Merle Hay Mall in Des Moines, Iowa. This mall was uh, built in 1959. Uh, you can kind of tell, right? Anyway, this is one of the back entrances where they just have the parking garage and what have you. Amazingly, it still gets kind of used for some of the local commerce over in that Merle Hay Tower over there, which isn't very much. But anyway, I thought I'd start here because it's fun just to see what we can rustle up here. So I'm going to turn it over to the other side of the lens and we're going to look at some of the stuff that we have here. So, anyway, so there's the food court entrance and what used to be Kohl's. Originally, it was the Yonkers store for homes. Can't really see it. I'm not going to go over there, but Kohl's ended up moving to the front of the mall when Sears demolished. So, we're going to go in the entrance here. This is a side entrance that would lead to the former Bridge Court, which is now Flick's Brew House. Doors are modern, nice. So I've been to this mall countless times. It's like one of these days I'm going to get my GoPro so we can do this with that camera. So I'll get a good shot of the. And coming up here, we have some national brands. There's Game Day, which is kind of their version of Dave and Buster's a little bit. Has a restaurant on the opposite side. It's pretty legit for what it is. That was formerly a Verizon wireless store. This was icing back in the day. It's multiple things, but now it's just dead right now. This was Victoria's Secret. You definitely tell the logo is behind that little cover right there. It's now a woodworking shop, a little trinket gift shop, and what have you. And then Old Navy, using their very short lived 2008 logo right there, but they've updated the location since then. And then a Far East treasure shop, which used to be Hellsberg Diamonds, of course, back in the day. This is the primary court. Now, up ahead, you'll see the little ring around. That used to be an open escalator that went downstairs and revealed like a sofa of fabrics, McDonald's, and cost cutters and what have you. It's still, I hear it's still like it's abandoned, but it's untouched. The McDonald's is still down there, and it hasn't been altered at all. I would love to go down there someday, but anyway, down here that was more Reese's, and then this store called Daily Thread, which is in select malls, but not around here anymore. They tried, it failed miserably. And then of course Ross is right there. It's a decent one, hit or miss. And then out here, like at the end of this corridor, was Sears. And after Sears was demolished, Kohl's was Kohl's built a brand new store right there because why be in all the way in the back of the mall when you can be up front and have better exposure? I'll admit I like the old Kohl's better. It was a little bit bigger, but of course, I'll go out and take a look for you all. Of course, Merle Hay nails that used to be Regis, of course. Visually, the Kohl's looks fine. It's just there's that parking garage we saw at the beginning of the video, and we would be in the appliances section of Sears right now if I kept walking. So, see over there's the movie theater before Flicks opened. It's your one of the milk holes, of course, has the Sephora in it, all that good stuff. But over here, of course, now we go back into the mall. On my Facebook group, Nathan's Retail and Roadway Journey, if you'd like the link, just send me a comment or something like that. Let's see, Route 21 is gone, Torrid is gone, Foot Locker is gone. They all left in the last year, unfortunately, but the rest is still there. Hey, Art, how are you doing? Hopefully, you're having a good day. Just hanging out. Now, if you're interested, Merle Hay Mall was named after Private Merle D. Hay, who was in Glidden, Iowa, which was about 100 miles away from here. That's whom they named the mall after, because he was the first person deceased in World War One. And Merle Hay Road is also, of course, right in front of the mall. Over here in the former Route 21 is Rats Records, which is a pretty solid record shop for what it is. I just wish they'd use it, invest in a nicer looking logo. I mean, they could have a bigger logo, light up or something like that. But inside, with the Route 21 look, it actually looks pretty good. So, of course, they have some decoration and what have you. And that was the former Kids Foot Locker and the former Torrid, which is being used for another tenant. It doesn't have a name. You It looks pretty decent in there, but you'd think that you would have their name on the front. I have no idea what it's called. Selling a lot of Supreme stuff, of course. And over here we have the former Zales and then former Claire's. That Claire's boxed up pretty quickly since the bankruptcy, so it's like an ice cream treats. It's been there for about 7, 8 years now. It's been pretty successful, so it's and then Auntie Anne's. Of course, you have to have Auntie Anne's. Hello, Wallace. How you doing? Riddles Jewelry. That was formerly K Jewelers back a couple years ago. And then Five Guys is over there. Uh, it was formerly Panda Express for about 7, 8 years, which unfortunately closed and did not replace their location. Not even with an exterior location with a drive-through, which I'm sad because I would love that. I'm just enjoying the air conditioning and getting some fitness in from before work. So, over here is the Old Navy. This quarter is a little bit more big box junior anchor. So anyway, there's Old Navy. And Old Navy, I remember when they first came to the mall, they were over there on the left. And it was big in the late 90s. Okay, Old Navy was huge in the late 90s and it was a big grab for Des Moines. So Shoe Carnival. And there's Ulta over there. And then there's this place called Fun Kitchen, which has a couple locations throughout. I believe Coral Ridge, I think, has one. But yeah, it's a cute little activity thing to kill an hour or so for the kids. And there's this God's Grace store. We should move on, but that was formerly Children's Place. Oh, and by the way, the Slime Kitchen was a former Justice. And then there's part of the Old Navy right there. Former Foot Locker. being utilized. It's called the Des Moines New Age Shop. And then right here was the former Gap from back in the day. This Angelica's design was, of course, a dress shop, and it's been here for about 5 or 6 years. And they took over the former work and gear space down right here. And then Five Below, that's been there since like 2017, 2018. And then that was formerly Motherhood Maternity. Thank you for the sub and the like, Wallace. I'm going to be doing more of these. And then if you go over here, it used to be called Merle Hay Lanes, but it's now called Game Day Lanes in accordance to be more in flush with the actual arcade and restaurant that we passed earlier. And now we're going to go into Target. As stated before, there was only 3 malls in Des Moines in the late 90s, and Old Navy was a big win when it was just one of those things where you're lucky if your state had one of them if you're out in the Midwest. So Jordan Creek Town Center, which is the now successful mall in the Des Moines metro, had not existed yet. So let's see. This Target has been here since 2006, moving from the former location, which was not that great in shape. But this was formerly Yonkers, which moved to the back of the mall so Target could build here. And go and make a lap around Target, check out the electronics department, and probably head out. Nothing too exciting. All right. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. Hopefully, you'll catch me in the next mall retail. Please subscribe and like. Comment if you would like. I would love the conversation. And have a good day.